Imagine a bustling city brought to a standstill in the blink of an eye. We're diving into the Korean martial law of 1980. This is a tale of how a vibrant nation was silenced, its streets hushed, its people muted, not by an external force but by its own government. But first, let's set the stage. The late 70s and early 80s were periods of intense social and political turbulence in South Korea. There was a palpable tension between the authoritarian government and the military, as well as the citizenry. This was not a sudden phenomenon, but a situation that had been stewing for years, a simmering pot on the brink of boiling over. The government, with its autocratic approach, had lost touch with the people. The military, on the other hand, was gaining power and influence, a development that was viewed with apprehension by many. The citizens, feeling stifled and repressed, were growing increasingly restless, their voices of dissent becoming louder and more widespread. Adding fuel to the fire was an economic crisis. South Korea, once lauded as an Asian tiger for its rapid economic growth, was now grappling with soaring inflation, rising unemployment, and widening income inequality. The economic strains only exacerbated the civil unrest, pushing the nation further towards the brink of chaos. And then, there were the student protests. College campuses across the country became hotbeds of resistance, with students rallying against the government, demanding democracy and advocating for human rights. These protests, though peaceful initially, would soon take a violent turn, further escalating the situation. In the midst of this turmoil, the government, desperate to maintain control, made a drastic decision. A decision that would forever alter the course of the nation's history. In the early hours of May 17, 1980, the military declared martial law. The bustling streets fell silent, the vibrant cityscapes turned into ghost towns, and the once lively nation was plunged into a state of uncertainty and fear. And so, on May 17, 1980, the military declared martial law, plunging the nation into a state of uncertainty and fear. With the declaration of martial law, the military's grip on South Korea tightened. A chilling wave of change swept across the peninsula. The immediate aftermath of the martial law declaration was as swift as it was severe. The government suspended the Constitution, effectively eradicating the rights and freedoms citizens had come to know. This suspension was not a mere symbol of military might, but a tactical move to control the narrative, to stifle dissent, and to consolidate power. Universities, the heart of intellectual discourse and breeding grounds for potential dissent, were shuttered. The shutting down of these academic institutions was a strategic ploy aimed at silencing the voices of the young and the educated, those most likely to question the status quo and rally against the military regime. The iron fist of martial law did not stop at the gates of universities. It extended its reach, targeting political figures. Key opposition leaders were arrested, their voices silenced by bars and walls. This was done under the guise of maintaining law and order, but it was clear to many that this was a calculated move to eliminate any potential threats to the regime's unchallenged rule. The military justified these actions, painting a picture of a nation on the brink of chaos. They claimed that these measures were necessary to restore order and security, to protect the people from themselves. But the people of South Korea saw through the facade. Their reactions were a mix of fear, anger, and defiance. Some cowered under the might of the military, their spirits broken by the sudden loss of freedom. Others, however, were fueled by the injustice. They saw not protectors but oppressors, and they refused to stand idly by. In the midst of this turmoil, the city of Gwangju became a beacon of resistance. This city, like a phoenix, would rise from the ashes of oppression and become a symbol of hope and defiance in the face of tyranny. But that is a story for another scene. For now, let us ponder on the iron fist and how it tightened its grip on a nation caught in the throes of change. In the heart of the city of Gwangju, the seeds of resistance began to sprout. It was in the late spring of 1980 when the winds of change began to stir. Fueled by the oppressive martial law, the people of Gwangju, particularly the students, found a voice that echoed through the streets and alleyways of the city. The Gwangju Uprising, as it came to be known, was not a sudden outburst of rage but a welling up of deep-seated discontent. It began with peaceful student protests, a collective cry for freedom and democracy. These demonstrations were initially small in scale but grew exponentially as the military government's heavy-handed tactics incensed the public. As the protests swelled, the military government, under the guise of maintaining order, unleashed a brutal crackdown. Troops were dispatched, armed with rifles and bayonets, their faces masked with indifference. The streets of Gwangju turned into a battleground, and the air was filled with the chilling sounds of gunfire, screams, and pleas for mercy. The government's response was ruthless, leading to a tragic loss of civilian life. Innocent lives were caught in the crossfire, their dreams of a democratic South Korea cut short. The city was soaked in the blood of its own people, a haunting testament to the sacrifices made in the name of freedom. Yet, amidst the chaos and brutality, the spirit of the Gwangju people remained unbroken. They fought back, not with guns or violence, but with an unwavering resolve to reclaim their rights. The uprising, though quelled, sparked a nationwide movement for democracy, sending a clear message to the military government. The people's will could not be silenced. The Gwangju uprising was a tragic but pivotal moment in South Korea's struggle for democracy. It marked a turning point, a moment in history when ordinary people stood up against an oppressive regime, fueled by their desire for freedom and justice. The echoes of their courage continue to resonate, reminding us of the power of resistance and the enduring human spirit. The winds of change were blowing in South Korea. As the 1980s dawned, the grip of martial law began to loosen. The country had been under this ironclad rule for almost a decade, but the tides were shifting, both domestically and internationally. Domestically, the people of South Korea were growing restless. The Gwangju uprising, a tragic yet pivotal event, had sparked a flame that could not be extinguished. Citizens yearned for freedom, for democracy, for a voice. They no longer wanted to live in fear under the shadow of martial law. Their protests, their resilience, their unyielding spirit were all instrumental in bringing about change. Internationally, the world was watching. The global community was becoming increasingly aware of the human rights abuses in South Korea. International pressure began to mount. Countries around the globe called for the end of martial law, for the restoration of democratic principles. This external pressure was a significant force, and it played a crucial role in the lifting of martial law. In 1987, the winds of change finally swept across the country. Martial law was lifted, marking a significant turning point in South Korea's history. The country began its transition to a more democratic government, a process that was by no means easy but was a necessary step forward. The military leaders responsible for the martial law were not let off the hook. They were put on trial, held accountable for their actions. These trials were a testament to the country's commitment to justice and to ensuring that such a dark period in its history would never be repeated. The martial law period was a dark chapter in South Korea's history, but it was also a catalyst for change. It was a time of struggle, of oppression, but it was also a time of resilience, of determination. It was a period that tested the spirit of the Korean people, and ultimately it was a period that led to the birth of a stronger, more democratic South Korea. The echoes of the martial law period can still be heard in South Korea today. These echoes reverberate through the bustling streets of Seoul, the quiet murmurings of rural towns, the hushed whispers of the old and the impassioned voices of the young. The martial law period, a time of turmoil and repression, has left an indelible mark on the nation's collective psyche. In the aftermath of this dark era, South Korea underwent significant reforms. The government, recognizing the need for change, undertook a comprehensive revision of the constitution. This led to the establishment of a more democratic political system, characterized by increased transparency, accountability, and the protection of human rights. These reforms, born from the ashes of martial law, have helped shape the South Korea we know today, a vibrant, dynamic democracy. But the legacy of martial law is not merely confined to political reforms. The search for justice for the victims of the Gwangju uprising continues to this day. Families of the victims, supported by the wider community, persist in their quest for truth and accountability. Their determination is a testament to the enduring spirit of the Korean people, a spirit that refuses to be silenced or forgotten. Perhaps the most profound legacy of the martial law period lies in the lessons it imparted. It taught the nation the importance of freedom, the value of dissent, and the power of the people. It served as a stark reminder that the pursuit of security should never come at the expense of liberty. And most importantly, it underscored the strength and resilience of the Korean people who, even in the face of hardship and oppression, were able to rise above and forge a path towards a better future. The martial law period, for all its darkness, was a crucible that shaped South Korea into the vibrant democracy it is today. This period, for all its pain and struggle, was not in vain. It was a catalyst for change, a stepping stone towards progress, a testament to the indomitable spirit of the Korean people, and it is this spirit that continues to shape the nation, driving it forward towards an